My eyes welled up as I rolled cookie dough amidst flour-dusted countertops and a sink filled with dishes taller than me. What I had intended to be a fun day of baking with my kids had turned into screaming matches, slam doors, and me up to my eyeballs in cookie dough with 3 dozen cookie tins left to fill and nobody left to help me with it. Some of my best childhood memories were baking cookies with my mom, and this cookie explosion in my kitchen left me feeling lonely and completely overwhelmed. Now I know better, and I'm happy to report this weekend I am looking forward to baking cookies again with my kids. And my whole Scrooge attitude about the holidays has turned around thanks to my new outlook on avoiding overwhelm. In this video, I want to share with you how I have gotten to this new outlook. And it's all based on creating reasonable expectations during the holidays. So that scene where I was tearing up in a disastrous kitchen, left alone and sad and overwhelmed and lonely and upset that I wasn't living out my childhood memories of the holidays. Well, what I was trying to create were sugar cookies, like, those perfectly formed gingerbread cookies. And I don't even remember what shapes we were making back then. My kids were pretty young. And I had this Pinterest perfect idea of these beautiful sugar cookies we were going to make. Completely unreasonable expectations. So now we have found easier, dump, those little bars that we make together. Each kid picks a cookie that they want to make. We make sure that's an easy and fun recipe. I just let things go. If things get messy and whatever, we all spend time cleaning it up together. So my expectations have changed a ton, which makes holiday baking a whole lot easier and more fun. But I want to take you through all the different aspects of the holidays and how we can reset our expectations so that we avoid the overwhelm and have more fun this holiday season. So it's funny because I was put to the test just 2 weeks ago when I was decorating my holiday tree. I've never done it without my husband, and he had to travel this year. And so we were decorating the tree, me and the kids. My son was so excited about it. We actually have 2 Christmas trees. One that's in our formal living room. That is my pretty tree that everybody sees. It's where we put the gifts. It's where Santa comes. And then upstairs, my kids have a game room, and that's where all the kids' ornaments are. Well, he only had time to put 1 tree, so he put the tree up in the formal living room. And of course, we got out all of the nicer decorations. And again, my expectations of this beautiful tree and how I want it to look. I was tested right away because some of the ornaments are glass, and my son dropped an ornament about 5 minutes into decorating. I lost it. I screamed. I'm like, step away from the tree. You are breaking my expensive ornaments. And quickly realized this is not what I want this day to be. I want it to be fun. So we took our space from each other for a little bit, and I apologized. He came back in, and we actually went and got peppermint milkshakes, and we ended up getting the tree decorated. Was it exactly every ornament placed where I want it to be? No, but that's okay. It's the memories that matter, right? Lowering our expectations of what the holidays look like is so much healthier. But at the same time, we need to make space for all of those emotions. So when he dropped the ornament, I was upset. It was just instantaneous. I need to get better on giving myself that pause between trigger and reaction, but we also need to make space for those emotions, deal with them, and then course correct, right? And set reasonable expectations of what this holiday is going to be like. So let's get into a couple of different areas that trip people up. But before that, I want to share with you my 10-minute reset routine. This routine is the most powerful thing to make sure that you're clear on what you're working on, but also keeping every other aspect of your life under control. I have a video series on the reset routine. I will link it down below. It's completely free, and I promise you this 10 minutes or less you're going to spend each day through the holidays and taking it into 2023 will be so powerful and keep you on track for your goals and living an unbusy life. Okay, the first area I want to talk about when setting reasonable expectations during the holiday are travel. So there's a lot of things that can come up with travel if you are going to see family or friends, or maybe you're even on a vacation this holiday season. Getting sick and weather are two very common culprits for throwing off our travel plans. And this actually happened to us last year. We gifted Disneyland to our kids for the holidays, and we ended up coming down with COVID. The good news was we didn't know we were sick until we got home. But the best way to circumvent and still enjoy your holiday and get around like these curveballs you can get with traveling is come up with a plan B. So maybe you can't get to grandma this year because she's sick, or because the weather's bad and your flight's been canceled, whatever it may be. Come up with a plan B that everybody loves. One go-to that I've actually been using forever, it was a tradition I had growing up, is going to the movies. That's something that a lot of people can enjoy. There's always new releases over the holidays. So think of something before that Christmas travel date hits so that you can have something to fall back on. Gifting. So the next area I want to talk about setting reasonable expectations is around the idea of gifting. So here we are in 2022 in talks of a recession. Maybe you have a smaller budget to work with this year, but your family and friends aren't used to getting smaller gifts. I think everyone's going to be understanding for one, but something to make you feel better about working with a smaller budget is to come up with ways to get creative. I shared not too long ago over on Instagram, my mother-in-law, who recently passed away, was amazing at this. She would always gift money because as she got older, she didn't have the ability to go out and shop as much, but she did it in very, very creative ways. The last gift she gave was this really sweet, it was a pizza box, just like something you would, if you ordered pizza, a box that your pizza would be delivered in. And she took little envelopes and created like this cool design inside the pizza box, and each envelope had a $5 bill in it. So just think about how you can creatively gift whatever you're giving, and also personalizing something. So whether that be like monogramming something, or, taking a dish and putting something inside it that you think that person will really love. So just extra thought and care you can put into gifting makes working with a smaller budget that much easier. Reasonable expectations, but also feels like you're giving in a way that feels genuine. And that's what the season's all about, right? Is giving. Okay, my next tip for setting reasonable expectations around the holidays comes to decorating. So sometimes people get so overwhelmed either with the budget, like Christmas and holiday decorations can get pretty expensive, and the time it takes to decorate for such a very small season. Some people love it, and that's fantastic. If that's your thing, I say embrace it. But if it feels like too much, either financially or as a time investment this year, and you just can't, let go of what's not important to you. And one way I like to do this is focus on a small area of your house that really feels holiday. And for us, that is our formal living room, because that is where we celebrate Christmas. That's where our Christmas tree is. That's where we open gifts. So I make sure that room is like Christmased out. I like a very subtle. I don't like a lot of reds and greens and bright. I'm a more subdued kind of person, but I make sure that that room feels very holiday. And if I get to the rest of the house, great. If I don't, that's okay. But focusing my time and energy on one space that we really spend time with and we associate the holidays with makes me feel like it's decorated. And if I don't have the time or energy or finances to pour into other parts of the home, it's okay to let that go. Okay, next up are Christmas cards. I hear from so many people, oh my gosh, there's so much overwhelm associated with Christmas cards. First, it's getting the picture, right, to actually put on the card, coordinating all those outfits. I know that stresses me out so much. Getting everybody to go and smile. Some photographers are brilliant at that, at catching those moments, those genuine moments. Sometimes it can just be excruciating. And then creating the cards, addressing the cards, and getting the cards out there. So here's a couple of ideas for eliminating overwhelm around the idea of Christmas cards. And first is, do you even care? Like, do you even care if you get a card out this year? If not, let that one go. And then second, it doesn't have to be that, again, Pinterest perfect picture on the most beautiful holiday cards. I actually alternate year after year. Every other year we do professional photos, and on the off years we do just candid pictures from either a family vacation or stuff we've been doing throughout the year. So that's how I kind of alternate, also decrease the cost associated with Christmas cards. But some people put together these like extensive holiday newsletters. I actually love to read those. I have never done one myself. And the thought of drafting one of those, and I'm a writer, you guys, is too much during this time of year. So that is something I let go with, like, out any qualms about it. So think about, when do you even care? What your expectations are around that card. And then thirdly, if you just can't seem to get it out this year, I love receiving New Year's cards. And I even have a girlfriend that does a Valentine's Day card. So it doesn't have to be a card that is delivered during, the month of December. It can be something that you receive later in the year, and it can still be special. The next thing I want to talk about setting reasonable holiday expectations on is the idea of being Hallmark happy for the holidays. There's almost like this pressure on everyone to feel jolly and be blasting holiday music and bring the joy 24/7. I am all for holiday happy, but like I said before, I think you need to respect your emotions. And the holidays tend to bring out feelings of loneliness and depression if you don't have somebody to spend the holiday with, or you're not able to connect with the people that you want to spend the holiday with. And I want to make space for that and say, I'm so sorry. And I think all of us have moments of loneliness throughout the holidays. And my tip here is to focus on giving back. We can't force relationships. We can't force joy during the holidays. That isn't there. But what we can do is give to others that are less fortunate. Again, this is the season of giving. And not only are you making someone else's life a little bit better, a little bit more joyful, a little bit more holiday happy, there's also this feeling inside when you give back that brings you a deeper sense of happiness. So if you are one of those that is just feeling lonely and depressed this holiday season, find a way to give back, whether that's through a charity, whether that's to a neighbor, whatever that might look like for you. But you don't always have to be Hallmark happy. Let's lower that expectation. But if you're looking for some sort of connection, reach out to somebody else in need. Okay, my final tip for lowering expectations during the holidays and avoiding overwhelm is around the meals. There seems to be so many meals, right? And as women, we end up being often the ones in the kitchen. And there's hours and hours and hours you can spend in the kitchen. If you have all these expectations on you, and a lot of time the meals, there's so many traditions, there's foods that people expect to be on the table. And I want to give you permission, not that you need it, to let that go. If there's something important to you, of course, spend the time in the kitchen making it, but don't spend so many hours cooking that you end up being overwhelmed and burnout and not enjoying the holidays. It is okay to ask for help, to ask for others that are coming to your home for the holidays to bring something. It's okay to order side dishes from a grocery store. It's okay to pick up something large from Costco. I often will put it on like a fancy dish to make it look like it's something I made. Nobody needs to know that, right? So let's lower our expectations of these meals that you need to spend hours and hours and hours creating. It's okay to ask for help. So I hope that gives you guys some resources on how to avoid overwhelm during this holiday season by lowering expectations in different aspects of the holidays. If you guys want to know more, I did a video last week that I'll link right here to my secret weapon for how I manage the holidays. Go check it out. There's lots of resources there too. It's the one thing that I lean on to keep me organized when going through this frantic season. Happy holidays, and I'll see you next week.